today's video, I'm going to be breaking down what you need to do to be successful in the early game. There are a variety of characters you can choose in the early game to be successful, and as you can see, these are all of the characters inside of Squad Busters. What you're going to want to do, especially as your first character, is choose somebody, either it be a barbarian, either it be a chicken, or a colt in the early game in order to start your snowball. This is because these characters are very, very strong for certain, or should I say different reasons. Barbarian is going to give you an elite version of himself if you do have him at least at classic form, and what that's going to allow you to do is upgrade his DPS to 233. He is going to have 1400 health. He's going to be able to get you and transition into the mid game very quickly. The early game is all about clearing out monsters as fast as possible, getting gold and opening up other chests. A barbarian is a really good choice to start out and get your first fusion. The second troop that you're going to want to pretty much focus on in the early game, if you're not going to be going with barbarians, is going to be the chicken. Now, if there are a lot of situations where there aren't a lot of blue boxes on the map, this is pretty much map dependent. The chicken is going to be able to give you a lot of turbo, which is going to be able to help you throughout the match, and turbo is one of the most important things inside of Squad Busters, as it not only increases your movement speed but also increases your attack speed when not moving and holding down the turbo. The chicken has 120 DPS and 1100 HP, so it does do a little bit of damage to be able to get you those monsters down quickly and able to snowball you. The next character is going to be Colt. Colt does a lot. He does a ton of damage. He has an ability called Bullet Storm, which is a ton of damage if you get him to the classic form, and he has 900 HP, so he's a little bit squishy, so you are going to need tanks in front of him. But as far as early game units, you want to prioritize either a Colt or a Barbarian realistically as your first character, and the reason why is because you're going to be able to clearing out characters. Bo right now is not the character that you're going to want. Unfortunately, Bo just does not do good work until he is in his ultra form, which I don't even have right now. It's going to take forever in order to get to that ultra form, and Bo just honestly doesn't do enough. 125 more damage to monsters just is not it, and that's with his super form, so, or sorry, I say his classic form, so you don't really want to worry about Bo in the early game. I would rather you focus on Colt to be able to get that maximum value. You can get some Gregs for chopping down trees, but if you're not going to choose Greg early, do not choose him late, as he falls off hard. Greg really couples well with the trader, and so does Mavis, but if you do not have the trader, or if you're not going to be going traders, you don't really want to focus too hard on farmers, which are the suppliers, because the trader really is going to be boosting you up there with dropping gems. So you're mainly focused on is snowballing and getting into the mid game, and that's going to be a barbarian really pushing you forward. Then you're going to want to get Colts, you're going to want to get El Primos, and then in the mid game try to get down a Hog Rider if you have it unlocked, and then you're going to be going with your Archer Queen, Barbarian King, and Witch. No matter what, when they jump up and are an option, you always want to choose epics, especially in the early game. If you don't want to choose more than one battle healer, but any other epic you can choose more than one of, as they are super strong and will give you a lot of value in the early game. Medic is going to be really good to heal up your units, but I cannot stress this enough. Do not get a lot of goblins and chickens and Gregs in the early game. It is going to cause you to pretty much lose the match, and you don't want to do that. If you don't realistically have a super Greg is not really that great, so you kind of want to stay away and avoid Greg. Chicken is all right. If you get at least the classic form, or it can spawn some hatchlings, you need the turbo, because the turbo is super good. Goblins are kind of a bait. I mean, they are pretty good. However, the only thing is, if you don't have the super form, it's kind of hard to justify getting goblins as they are pretty weak in the early game. So what you have to do is either go Barbarian, Colt, or El Primo to start. You really don't want El Primo as your first character, but as your second character, you definitely can get some El Primos and then start transitioning into the mid game, whether that be some Shellys, some Nitas, some Hog Riders, a Medic. You don't really want Dynamite as he isn't that great. And then the late game, you're going to really want to be focusing on Witches, Archer Queens, and Barbarian Kings. Now, if you are later on, and you are in Royal World, you are or heavy in a Desert World, you're going to want to focus on B as she is one of the best characters inside of the game. Max as well is a super strong pick. And then you are going to be going over to Mavis and Trader combination later on. Mavis and Trader combination is the greatest combo in the game. Two fused Trader and a fused Mavis is just super strong, and you will just infinitely win without even attacking anybody. But you're going to have some Pams, you're going to have some Wizards, you're going to have, don't really try Royale Kings. They're not really that great unless it's a super end game and it's one of your last chests. Royale King is kind of weak. Mortis is okay. All of the epic heroes are pretty good in this game. Battle Healer, you only want one of, but that's kind of where you're going to want to go. Just remember, in the early game, it's going to be Barbarian, Colt, or El Primo, really to start your journey off. Trust me, Barbarian or Colt as your first choice is going to give you the most amount of value. Chicken, if at all necessary, and if you don't have that. So Barbarian, Colt, or Chicken, pretty much in that order, are going to be the three characters that you're going to want to choose first and fuse up in a Squad Busters match. You want to fuse up these units so that you are able to get new units over and over again. The more you fuse up the units inside of Squad Busters, the cheaper your chests become, and that is what you are going to want. Fusions are the key to success inside of Squad Busters, and farming is going to get you there. But thank you guys so much for watching this YouTube video. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next one.